Oh my goodness, guys, we are in for a treat today. If you are brand new to my channel, have never seen one of my videos before, I'm so excited that you're here because we're about to have a lot of fun. This may be one of my favorite baby blankets I've ever made. This is the unicorn baby blanket. I made this a couple years ago when unicorns were super popular. I mean, they're still super popular, but back then they were really popular. And I found a crochet stitch that reminded me of unicorns. It's actually called the diagonal shell stitch, but that top stitch looks like a horn. I thought it was perfect, had to give it a try. And I had so much fun working up the pattern that I can't wait to share with you how to do it because I think we're gonna have a blast together. Crochet by Numbers for the unicorn baby blanket. It took me approximately 7 hours to make this baby blanket, 10 skeins of yarn. That's Michael's Loops and Threads Charisma yarn in the color Blush, each skein costing $4.99 per skein. So this baby blanket ran me about $50 to make. All of the details for the materials that I used, including what crochet hook that I used, I'll put in the description section below this video, as well as links to those items if you'd like to get your hands on exactly what I used. This pattern is a diagonal shell pattern. So special note, when we're working up this project, you're going to notice that the blanket is going to start to slant and look like it's working in a diagonal shape. That's perfectly fine. We're going to correct that when making the border around it. I just want you to know, heads up, right up front, that if you start to notice that slant, you're not doing anything wrong. That's just the nature of this pattern. Okay, this pattern is worked in a multiple of 4 plus 2. I started with a chain of 102 chains to make my blanket. I personally, in this video, am going to just make a little swatch to get through the instructions faster. So I'm going to begin by chaining a total of 18 chains. 17, 18, great. We are now ready for row 1. Row 1, we're going to single crochet in the second chain from our crochet hook. 1, 2, and then chain 3. 1, 2, 3. In that same stitch space we just made a single crochet stitch, we will make 4 double crochet stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. Great. Then we're going to skip 3 chains, so you may have to take this slanted or diagonal shell stitch and scoot it over a bit so you can see that chain that's located right next to where we placed all of those stitches. That chain can easily get squished and it can look like it's not a space at all. However, if we ignore this space, it will throw off our stitch count. So definitely don't forget this. Sometimes, as a tip, people will use a stitch marker and place it in that chain or stitch space before they even make their diagonal shell stitch, so that way they can make sure they count that stitch space. So skipping 3, 1, 2, 3, and single crochet in the 4th. Then chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and make 4 double crochet stitches in that same stitch that you just made that single crochet stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's the repeat pattern for row 1. Skip 3, 1, 2, 3, single crochet in the 4th stitch space, then chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and make 4 double crochet stitches in that same stitch that you made the single crochet stitch. What I've noticed is that by making that single crochet stitch and then that chain 3, that is kind of the post or pillar that pushes or bumps that shell stitch diagonal. So it's a very cool concept. 1, 2, 3, 4. Continue across row 1. I'll meet you at the end of row 1. 4, 1, 2, 3, and at the end of row 1, we're going to single crochet in that last stitch space and chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Great. So this is what we will be looking at the end of row 1. Look at all those slants. It kind of looks like this crazy wave happening. It's very cool. Let's go ahead and move on to row 2. We're going to start row 2, so we've already chained 3, skipping the single crochet stitch and skipping the first double crochet that we see here. We're going to make a decreased double crochet stitch or a double crochet to tog. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to yarn over, find the second double crochet stitch, insert my crochet hook, yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over and pull through only 2 loops, keeping 2 loops on my crochet hook. Then yarn over, insert my crochet hook into the next double crochet or next stitch space, yarn over, pull through. So now I have this look right here where I started a double crochet in this stitch space, started a double crochet in that stitch space. I have 3 loops on my crochet hook, yarn over, pull through all 3, and then I'll chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and single crochet on top of that third chain right here where it's a single crochet, then 1, 2, 3, single crochet right there on that post, making this little window or engulfing this shell stitch. Then repeat. We'll make that decrease double crochet or that double crochet to tog right there, chain 3, and single crochet in that third chain of that pillar that we made. And there we go. And repeat. 1, 2, 3. At the end of row 2, single crochet in that third chain here to end row 2. Now what we're going to see here are all these little windows, and again, that double crochet to tog was made in the second and third double crochet stitch of the shell below for each and every window. And that is why I call it the unicorn blanket, because it looks like a unicorn horn in each one of these windows. Moving on to row 3, we're going to start by chaining 1, turning our work, single crochet in that first stitch space, then chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and repeat. Make 4 double crochet stitches in the same stitch we just made a single crochet stitch in. 1, 4, and then single crochet on top of the single crochet stitch. Single crochet. So we technically want all those pillars to stay aligned with each other. Chain 3, 2, 3, 4 double crochet in the same stitch we made the single crochet stitch in. 2, 3, 4, and single crochet, not on top of that unicorn horn. Find that single crochet stitch and single crochet on top of that and repeat. At the very end of row 3, we will single crochet in that third chain to close row 3. Now what I'm already seeing, and so I want to make sure that I set my work down and let you see this as well, is it's already starting to take on that diagonal shape. Again, do not let this worry you. Do not let this make you think you're doing anything wrong. You're doing nothing wrong. It's just the nature of the stitch. And again, we will correct this when we make that border. All right, that's it. That's all you have to do for the inner body of this blanket. It's just repeat row 2 and row 3 over and over and over again until you have reached, I stopped at row 46 for my blanket. So that is where I stopped. I'll meet you there and we will do the border. Just as a heads up, little note, you're gonna wanna make sure that you end on a row 2 repeat, because that's where we close off that box around the diagonal shell stitch and make that unicorn horn. All right, go ahead and keep going and I'll meet you at the end of row 46 to show you how to make the border. When you finish with your entire blanket, so that would be right at row 46, we dive straight into the border. We don't cut any yarn unless you choose to do your border in a different color. We're just gonna dive right in. So I'm going to begin by chaining 1, turning my work. Border round 1, single crochet in the first stitch space. Around each chain 3, we're going to make 3 single crochet stitches. 1, 2, 3. We're gonna skip over that double crochet 2 tog right here, skip over the horn, find the single crochet stitch and single crochet there. And then 3 single crochet over that chain 3, skip, single crochet and on top of single crochet. At the end of the top section in the first corner, so 2, 3, we're going to find that chain 3 turn, that top chain, and make 3 single crochet stitches in this top chain. The first single crochet will count as the last stitch for the top. The second single crochet will count as the turning stitch, and the third single crochet will count as the first stitch for this new side. We will make 3 single crochet stitches around the chain sections. 2, 3, skip this spot where it would be that single crochet stitch we made, and I actually place my next stitch right below where that single crochet entered into the space. And then 1, 2, 3, skip over all that, find where the single crochet entered the space, single crochet. Repeat this all the way down the side, and you might be asking yourself, why did you skip that spot? It's all part of the straightening of that diagonal blanket. I'm trying to straighten everything out, fix it with the border. And at the very end of the first side, find that stitch, that last corner stitch, and make 3 single crochet stitches. 3, now working along the bottom, again working 3 single crochet stitches around the chain sections, and 1 single crochet stitch where all of those shell double crochet stitches entered into. Okay, again chain, so 1, 2, 3, and big section here, 1. Last stitch for the bottom, I'm going to actually skip this stitch space and I'm going to place my stitch here, right next to it. Why am I doing that? I'm doing that way if I put stitches here, then I have all this to get around and it doesn't look smooth. It doesn't look like the corner stitch space, and I want to place my last stitch in the corner stitch space. So I'm going to go ahead and just place my last stitch right there and make 3 single crochet to get myself around. Right, this next side, this last side that we're working, it has all these big bumps to get around. So I'm going to work this through with you so I can show you how to smooth out all of those bumps. Got this chain here, making 3 single crochet around the chains. 3, and then I'm going to place my next stitch in the corner of that hump. So finding that hump, next stitch right there in the corner, and then 3 single crochet around the chain, skipping, find the hump, single crochet in that hump. What that's doing is it's flattening it all out and smoothing it. 3, when we get to corner number 4, we're going to find the same stitch that already has a single crochet stitch in it, make 2 more single crochets to satisfy that 3 single crochets in the corner, and slip stitch into the top of that first single crochet stitch to close round 1. Now what we're already seeing here is everything is really straightened out a lot more significantly, and even if you shift things a bit, look at that. You can't even see that there was a diagonal at all. It looks completely fixed. See the power of the border. Right, round 2 of the border. We're going to start by chaining 1. Single crocheting in the same stitch we just slip stitched into. Skip the next stitch space. In the next stitch space, we're going to make 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet for a fancy shell. Chain 2, same stitch space. Skip the next stitch space, single crochet in the following stitch space. Skip the next stitch space, make our group of 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet. skip the next stitch, single crochet in the following. Repeat this all the way across, and I'll meet you in the first corner to show you what we do with the corners. All right, we've come upon the first corner. We'll see these 3 single crochet stitches. It's right in line with our pattern, so skipping the first stitch right after our shell, single crocheting in the next stitch, which just so happens to be the first stitch of the 3 single crochets at the corner. In the second single crochet of the corner, make your shell. And single crochet in the third single crochet of that corner. And so it gives this corner a really pretty and kind of defined difference for that shell. And continue working the same pattern all the way around our blanket, doing exactly what we did along the top, all the way around. Now you know how to approach each one of the corners. I'll meet back up with you in corner number 4 just to show you how we close off the border. If for some reason the stitch count that you have in your blanket, if you're adjusting the size or changing the size or have some kind of difference in your blanket opposed to mine, wherever you're at in this rhythm or in this pattern along the sides, whenever you come to that corner, 3 single crochet stitches, stop everything you're doing in the rest of the pattern, single crochet in the first, single crochet, make your shell in the second, and single crochet in the third, and then continue on with the pattern moving forward. Great, 4th corner, made it to the end. Find those 3 single crochet stitches. So I know that I only made 2 to finish off round 4 with the first round. So I'm going to single crochet in that first single crochet, make my shell in the second single crochet, and then single crochet on top of the very first single crochet stitch that we made for round 2 of our border. Cut a long enough tail to weave in your ends, tie off your work. Awesome. Only thing left to do is weave in your ends. Now I do want to point out, look at mine. It does still kind of show up in a bit of a diagonal shape. If this bothers you, just block the blanket and you'll be good to go. Just give it a little shift and it'll line right back up. And blocking it will help it to stay in that shape a little bit longer. Guys, I really hope you enjoyed making this blanket with me. If you have any questions at all, please ask in the comment section below and share with me what yarn you chose to make your blanket. I'd love to hear. Thank you so much for spending time with me. I hope you have the best day, and I'll see you with my next video. Bye, guys.